Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things, and today, welcome to another small Booktuber Sunday. If you missed the first episode of this series, basically what it is that from now on, the first Sunday of every month is going to be Small Booktuber Sunday on my channel, and I will take that first Sunday of the month to shout out 10 or so small booktubers who I really enjoy. Start off with a couple of old favourites. First, I want to mention Olivia Pope. Olivia Pope I have been watching for a long time, and I really love her channel. We have very similar taste when it comes to literary fiction, I think, and at least we have very similar taste in terms of writing. She loves literary fiction such as John McGregor and Ali Smith and so many others, but she also listens to a lot of audiobooks while she's working and tends to listen to memoirs and slightly different books to the ones she reads, which is really interesting as well. Her videos are really chatty and easy and lovely to watch, and she also has very good taste in jumpers, which is always enjoyable. And she also writes, which I really love as well, as someone who writes, and I've also had the opportunity of reading some of her writing in the past on a sort of Facebook Booktube writers group, and I really loved what I've read. She's an absolutely brilliant writer. So I will link a couple of videos of hers down below. One thing I will link is her series called Paddling in Independent Publishers, where she takes an independent publisher and reads a few of their books and talks about that publisher and those books, which I really love. And also I'll link two videos she did really recently, which I really enjoyed, and I think will tell you quite a lot about her reading taste if you're new to her channel. One is a video called Books That Have Changed My Reading, and another is a video called Books That Have Changed My Writing. I really love both of these videos. Like, I love everything on her channel, and yeah, I'll link her channel down below. The next person I want to mention is another old favourite, and that is Carolyn from Carolyn's Reading Rambles. I've been watching Carolyn for a very long time and I get on with her really well. She loves Victorian literature, which of course I approve of, but also she enjoys more modern classics and a really wide variety of books. Her videos are very casual and very enjoyable and easy to watch, and I always really love the way she talks about books. Not only her reviews, but also her TBRs and hauls, where she not only talks about the books she's got, but also kind of stories about why she's interested in them. So I will link a couple of videos of hers down below. I will link her favourites of 2017, and I'll also link down below her video on the big books she wants to read in 2017, because Carolyn likes a challenge and likes big books. Another thing about her channel, which I think is quite interesting, she does talk about sometimes, is that she listens to a lot of audiobooks, and she very often listens to an audiobook while reading the physical book, and that's how she reads a lot of her books, which I think is slightly different and interesting as well. Next, I want to mention Stephanie from That's What She Read. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the glory that is her channel name. She has quite broad taste in books, and she likes kind of general literary fiction and some classics, but she also really loves thrillers and horror books, and I really don't like thrillers and horror fiction, but for some reason I just love hearing her talk about these books. She has very different bookish taste to me, I would say, and yet I love watching her channel because it's so enjoyable, it's so interesting, and sometimes also I really like listening to someone talk about a book that I think I'm never going to read, because it's really interesting to know what other books are out there. And one of my favourite series she does on her channel is a series called Four of a Kind, where she takes 4 books that all have something in common and discusses them. I think this is such a wonderful format for a video and really fun, and she did one on short story novels, or novels that are in the form of short stories, and one on books set in boarding schools, one on vampire novels, and a few on sort of 4 novels all set in the same state of America and things like that. I will also link down below her favourite books of 2017 just to get you into her sort of broad reading taste, and I really love her channel a lot. Next, I want to mention Claire Reads Books, another channel I love so much. I've been watching her from pretty much the beginning of when she started her channel, which I think is about 7 or 8 months ago, and I love her videos so much. Claire is one of those people who has the perfect balance between being analytical and being kind of entertaining and really interesting and enjoyable to watch. She likes classics and literary fiction, and also reads quite a lot of interesting non-fiction as well, including some memoirs and kind of essay collections. One thing I love about her channel so much is her book reviews, because I think she does splendid book reviews, is really good at picking things apart, working out what she likes about a book and why, and having that mixture of kind of subjectivity and more objective analytical stuff. So I'm going to link a couple of her book reviews down below that have been really standout book reviews for me. One is a recent book review she did of a book called A True Novel, which is a Japanese retelling of Wuthering Heights, which sounds awesome. And then a couple of videos she did back in Booktuber, one book review on Villette by Charlotte Bronte and one book review on Middlemarch by George Eliot, are just so absolutely such brilliant videos. So I'll link them down below, and I'll also link down below her best best fiction reads of 2017, as that's another fairly nice way to get into her channel, I would say. She is such a talented and intelligent person, and I just love watching her channel. Next, I want to mention Charles Heathcote. Charlie is someone I've been watching for quite a while. He enjoys, I would say, maybe like the more commercial end of literary fiction, stuff like Joanna Cannon, and also really enjoys books and novels that are about older characters, partly because he is a writer himself, and his novel that he independently published, I think maybe a year ago, is about an older woman, and he writes quite a lot and talks quite a lot about sort of older characters in fiction, which is really, really interesting. And I really love hearing him talking about his writing and the affection he feels for his characters and his interest in them. So I'm going to link down below his January wrap-up and his favourite books of 2017, and I think I'll also link down below a video where he talks about his book Indisputably Doris. Next, I want to mention Risha from For the Love of Classics. She loves classics a lot, and she mostly reads classics, and she talks about classics so well. And she reads quite a lot of Victorian literature, but she also reads more widely in classics than me, I would say, and lots of classics in translation and that kind of thing as well. I'm going to link down below her best books of 2017, which includes plenty of classics, and also a recent video she did, which is 4 book reviews of classics. I really enjoy these videos where she takes sort of 4 or 5 classics she's read recently and reviews them all in one video. And I'm also going to link down below one of her reading vlogs, I think maybe her one from Booktuber, because I really love her reading vlogs, watching where she makes time for reading and seeing a bit more about her life. She's a doctor in Pakistan, and she also talks a bit in her videos and her reading vlogs about her work and what it's like to be a doctor, which is also fascinating. So yes, a lot in her channel to enjoy. Next, I want to mention Karen from Sunflower Reads. She's been on Booktube I think for about 2 years, but she's another person I discovered back in Booktuber. She loves classics but also a whole lot more, and has really wide reading taste, and I really enjoy her channel. She's someone who is just incredibly enjoyable to watch, whose videos feel very natural and calm and easy, and who always has interesting things to say about the books she reads. And also she sometimes talks about film and television adaptations and things like that. So I'm going to link down below her favourite books of 2017, and I'll also link down below a video I really loved, which is her most surprising books of 2017. I definitely recommend her channel, please do go check it out. Next, I'd like to mention Rachel from Rachel's Reading Corner, who I think she's been on Booktube for about 18 months, and again, I discovered her back in Booktuber. She likes classics, but she also reads really widely, and I really enjoy her videos. She's someone who is both chatty but also very informed in the things she says, and one thing I've really loved that she's been doing recently is kind of recommendation videos around a particular theme. So she put out a video talking about books that deal really interestingly with mental health, and then also books which she thinks have really feminist characters in. Both of those videos were so interesting, and I think a really nice way to do kind of book recommendations. I think she's such an enjoyable person to watch and always has interesting things to say. Finally, I have 2 people who are much newer discoveries to me, but first I want to mention Catherine from the Readers Athenaeum. She is just incredible. She's been on Booktube for about 7 months. I've been watching her for about 1 month. I discovered her actually, my friend Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, who I mentioned in my last month's Small Booktuber Sunday, told me about Catherine from the Readers Athenaeum, and I thought she sounds like someone I might enjoy, and so I started watching her channel, and it is excellent. She, like Claire from Claire Reads Books, who I mentioned earlier, has a very good balance of the kind of analytical, in-depth discussion with really enjoyable to watch. She really loves literary fiction and historical fiction, and is really good on them. I really enjoyed, she did a Kazuo Ishiguro spotlight. This is quite an old video actually, but I've only watched it like a few weeks ago, which I really enjoyed. She also very recently did a video on sort of historical fiction written by women that deals interestingly with sort of gender issues in the past, which was a wonderful video. And I'll also link down below a video which I found absolutely fascinating. Recently she did a video review on Exit West. She reviewed Exit West, and then she used it as kind of a springboard to talk about wider issues in terms of hype around books and what literary fiction is as a genre and how publishers market literary fiction. And that was just really interesting, just fascinating. And I really like it when people take like one particular book and a review of it as a starting point to talk about bigger things, because I think that's a really interesting way of doing book reviews. So yeah, she's very excellent. Like, definitely go watch her videos. Last person I want to talk about today is Chrissy Lynn from Reading in Winter. Her channel is quite old in that she made videos like 4 years ago, and then she stopped 4 years, and about 2 months ago, I would say, came back to Booktube. And I discovered her a couple of weeks ago because she started commenting on my videos and had interesting things to say, so I went and looked at her channel, as I very often do. That's how I find lots of people I watch on Booktube. I'll link down below her kind of new Booktube introduction that she put up when she sort of started making Booktube videos again, and I'll also link down below her wrap-up from the Persephone Classics Readathon, where she talks about the Persephone classics she read for the Readathon and her thoughts and feelings about them. Definitely a channel channel that I am really, really enjoying so far and that I would highly recommend. So there we have it. Those are 10 more small booktubers who I really, really love and who I highly, highly, highly recommend that you all go and watch. I have many, many more people on my list to shout out, so next month on the 1st of April I'll be back with many more wonderful booktubers to shout out. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with another bookish video.